I never thought I'd kill for a face that wasn't mine. But there I was, in the dim glow of a penthouse overlooking Central Park, my borrowed fingers wrapped around a silk tie, pulling it tight against the throat of the woman who'd stolen everything: my body, my name, my goddamn soul. 18 months ago, I'd quietly placed my grandparents' $3 million estate into a trust, just to protect it from the vultures circling our family name. Little did I know, the biggest predator was the one I'd called sister. Her eyes, my eyes, really bulged in terror as she gasped, "Catherine, please. It's me. Emily." But it wasn't. Emily was dead inside the shell. Or close enough. I'd spent over a year clawing my way back from the abyss she'd shoved me into. A botched experiment in some black market neural swap clinic in the bowels of Brooklyn. The kind of place where Silicon Valley rejects peddle dreams of immortality to desperate heirs like us. She'd done it for the money, the power, the escape from her own crumbling life. And I'd let her, because blood is thicker than suspicion. Until it wasn't. The tie snapped taut. And my body went limp. I released it, watching her slump against the marble floor like a discarded puppet. No blood. No mess. Just the quiet finality of justice in a city that chews up the innocent and spits out the bones. My heart hammered. Not with regret, but with the electric thrill of reclamation. This wasn't murder, it was eviction. But as I straightened up, staring at my reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows, her reflection, sharp cheekbones and all, I wondered if I'd just damned us both. It started in the sticky heat of a New York summer, the kind where the subway platforms reek of piss and regret, and everyone pretends they're one big break from the top. I was Catherine Hale, 28, the good twin in a family fractured by old money and older grudges. Our grandparents had built a real estate empire from nothing. Row houses in Harlem turned luxury condos in Soho, leaving behind that $3 million nest egg when they passed 5 years back. Emily and I split everything else down the middle: the brownstone in the village, the vintage Jag, the endless parade of trust fund suitors who thought we were interchangeable arm candy. But I was the careful one, the executor. The night before the anniversary of their deaths, I sat in the lawyer's office on Park Avenue, signing papers to lock the estate into an irrevocable trust. Just to protect it, I told Emily over Rose later that evening. From taxes, from whatever. We're family. This keeps us safe. She'd smiled then. That porcelain-perfect smile we'd inherited from Mom. And clinked her glass to mine. "You're always the big sister, Kath. Saving us from ourselves." Her eyes lingered a beat too long on the paperwork I'd shown her. But I chalked it up to the wine. Emily was the wild one. Parties in the Hamptons. Flings with hedge fund bros. A string of rehab stints she'd laugh off as character building. I'd bailed her out more times than I could count, covering her credit card debts with my steady job as a junior curator at the Met. Art history degree from Yale. Sure. But it was the family name that opened doors. We were Hales. We didn't fail. We just pivoted. That pivot came 2 weeks later, in a warehouse loft disguised as a wellness retreat in Bushwick. Emily had been raving about this life reset program, some underground neurotech promising to unlock your potential through consciousness transfer. It sounded like bullshit. The kind of pseudoscience peddled to influencers chasing eternal youth. But she was spiraling. Another breakup. Whispers of embezzlement from her consulting gig at Dad's old firm. "Come on, Kath," she'd begged over the phone. Voice thick with that fake vulnerability she weaponized so well. It's not drugs or anything. It's science. A way to trade stresses for a fresh start. You handle the boring stuff, I handle the fun. We switch for a month. See how it feels. Sisters pact. I should have hung up.
But family.
That word was our curse, etched into every holiday toast. Every courtroom battle over Dad's will after Mom's overdose. He drunk himself into an early grave chasing deals that never closed, leaving us with grudges and ghosts. So, I went. One night, harnessed into cold metal chairs facing each other across a humming console. Electrodes kissing our temples like lovers' lies. The tech, a gaunt Russian expat with a Harvard med dropout vibe, muttered about quantum entanglement of neural patterns. Emily gripped my hand, whispering, "This'll fix everything. Trust me." The world dissolved into white noise. A vertigo whirl of memories not mine. Her first kiss in the back of a limo. The sting of coke lines on a yacht. The terror of that night in rehab when withdrawal clawed her insides raw. Then blackness. When I woke, it was to her voice, my voice, saying, "Holy shit.
Kath.
You did it." I feel focused, but I was in her body. Softer around the edges from skipped gyms. A faint scar on my wrist from a fall she never explained. And she stretched in mine. Taller. Stronger. Eyes bright with something predatory. At first,
It was a game.
we laughed about it in the cab back to the brownstone. Her in my jeans that hung loose on her new frame. Me tugging at her too tight dresses. "You're me now," she said, snapping selfies. "Go crush that board meeting tomorrow. I'll handle your stuffy art nerds." But by morning, the calls started. My phone, her phone now, blowing up with alerts from the trust administrator. MS. Hail, confirmation on the estate transfer? Emily, in my skin, waved it off. Handle it.
Kath.
You're the detail queen. I did.
Or tried.
But days blurred into weeks. And she extended the swap. Just a bit longer. This body's killing it, landed a deal with those venture guys. Her voice on video calls was mine. But the cadence was off. Sharper. Hungrier. I watched from her Instagram as I jetted to Miami, schmoozing at galas, while I navigated her mess, eviction notices from a sublet she couldn't afford, texts from exes demanding closure. The real gut punch came when I found the clinic's fine print. Buried in her email, the swap wasn't reversible without both parties' consent. And Emily? She ghosted.
Panic set in like a bad trip.
I stormed the loft, only to find it gutted. The Russian tech vanished. No records. No traces, just a sticky note on the console. Payment received. Enjoy the upgrade. Back in the brownstone, I rifled her drawers, uncovering ledgers scribbled with numbers that didn't add up. She'd been siphoning from Dad's firm for months, cooking books to cover gambling debts. And the trust? She'd forged my signature days before the swap, redirecting funds to an offshore account. $3 million.
Poof.
Gone to bail out her lifestyle, not protect us. Betrayal hit like a freight train. But worse was the secret she'd buried deeper. Mom's overdose wasn't suicide. Emily had slipped the pills into her wine that night, a mercy after Mom discovered the embezzlement. She was gonna ruin us. Emily confessed in a drunken voicemail I'd found deleted, but recoverable on her cloud. I fixed it. Like I'll fix this. Fixed. As if we were properties to flip. Rage simmered. But I played smart. In her body, I was invisible, the party girl no one took seriously. I dyed my hair blonde, got a nose piercing, crash dive bars in Queens to build a network of lowlifes who'd do dirty work for cash I scraped from her forgotten Venmo tips. I studied her patterns, hacked her, my emails with a burner laptop from a pawn shop in Chinatown. She was climbing, Catherine Hale, now courted by the elite, whispering in boardrooms about blockchain real estate flips, the trust money fueling her ascent. Months in, I hit my first controversial call. A PI I'd hired dug up dirt. Emily's lover, a slick attorney named Victor Lang, was the clinic's silent partner. He knew about the irreversibility, had drafted the forgeries. Killing him crossed my mind in fevered dreams, but I opted for ruin. I leaked his affair with a minor client to the tabloids, anonymous tip, her body as the perfect alibi when Emily was spotted at the scene of an unrelated brawl. Victor folded, spilling to save his license, confessions of fraud, taped and time-stamped. But Emily caught wind. Catherine confronted me at a rooftop bar in Midtown, her face mine, twisted in fury. "What the hell are you doing?" This was our fresh start. I laughed, spilling her martini down her blouse. "Your fresh start."
Eminência.
In my skin, with my money, over Mom's corpse. She paled, then sneered. "Prove it. You're nothing without me. Just a junkie twin no one misses." That night, I made my second dark choice. I seduced Victor in his panic, using her curves and my wit to extract the clinic's kill switch, a neural disruptor code that could fry a swapped brain if triggered remotely. Controversial? Hell yes. It meant risking my own mind, but the power shifted. I vanished into the underbelly, crashing on couches in the Bronx, piecing together a plan from burner phones and bodega coffee. By month 6, I was a ghost in her machine. I funneled crumbs of the trust back through crypto wallets, starving her empire. She lashed out, framing Emily for a hit-and-run staged with her Jag, me dodging cops in alleys slick with autumn rain. The city turned on her double, whispers of Hail curse in society pages. But she was cunning, a viper in velvet. She pivoted to philanthropy. Catherine Hale founding a women's shelter with pilfered funds, burnishing her image while hunting me through private eyes. Tension coiled like a spring. I'd wake sweating from dreams of Mom's glassy eyes. Emily's whisper, "Sisters forever. Forever my ass." I hit rock bottom in a flophouse off Fordham Road, staring at the scar on my wrist, hers. Really, from that fall. It wasn't a fall. It was a cut. Shallow but deliberate. From the night she'd tried to off herself after Mom, only to chicken out and blame withdrawal. The secret she'd chanted to herself in the swap haze. I did it for us.
Us.
That word fueled my fire. I resurfaced in spring, blonde gone, back to brunette roots, slipping into galas as a caterer to eavesdrop. She was peaking, engaged to a senator's son, trust money laundered into PACs. Victor was her attack dog, but I'd neutered him, blackmailed into silence with those tapes. My third controversial move? I dosed her drink at a fundraiser, a mild hallucinogen from a street chemist, making Catherine unravel on stage, ranting about stolen souls to horrified donors. The headline screamed, "Hail heiress cracks, stocks in the family holdings tanked." She knew it was me then. A midnight call, her voice mine hissing, "You bitch. This ends now." We met in neutral ground, the family plot in Woodlawn Cemetery, fog rolling off the Hudson like cigarette smoke. Gravestones loomed, Grandparents' marble angels weeping stone tears. Give it back, she demanded, flanked by two bruisers in ill-fitting suits. The body. The life. We switched back. Can't, I said, circling her like a shark. You knew that. Irreversible. Remember? Like Mom's last breath. Her face crumpled, then hardened. She was weak, dragging us down with her debts. I saved you,
Kath.
from the scandal, from being her. The bruisers lunged, but I was ready. Pepper spray from a purse I'd lifted, knees to groins, a heel to a windpipe. Emily watched, frozen, then bolted for the jag. I tackled her into the mud, fists flying, her nails raking my cheek. You took everything, I screamed, pinning her. The money, the name, Mom's blood on your hands, she bucked, whispering, not just mine. And that's when the twist cracked open like a fault line. As sirens wailed distant, some groundskeeper's call, the words spilled from her lips, choked and raw. The pills. It wasn't just me. Dad knew. He supplied them. Mom found the ledgers.
Confronted him.
He begged me to.
Help. For the family, he said.
I did it for him. For us to inherit clean.
Dad.
The drunk charmer who'd toasted our births with promises of empires. He'd framed Mom's death as OD to dodge fraud charges, coached Emily to lie, then drank himself dead to escape guilt. The trust? His final fuck you. Salted away to protect us from her ghost. I'd borne it all. The whispers. The therapy bills. The weight of being the stable one, carrying his crime in silence, while Emily played accomplice. The revelation hit harder than any punch. My rage fractured, splintering into grief. Was I avenging Mom, or just chasing shadows of his sins? Emily sobbed, switched back.
Kath.
End this. We're all we have. But the code burned in my pocket. The Disruptor app open on my phone. One tap. And her mind, trapped in mine, would short-circuit, leaving Catherine a vegetable. Controversial? The line between justice and matricide blurred. I hovered the thumb. City lights flickering like faulty synapses. In the end, I chose neither. I smashed the phone against a headstone, glass shattering like vows. Live with it, I spat, hauling her up. We stumbled to the jag, bruisers groaning in the dirt. No cops, hail money-bought silence. Even then, back at the brownstone, we faced the mirror. Two women, same bones, different scars. The swap held, irreversible as our blood. She confessed everything to the lawyers, forged trust. Mom's truth, framing it as joint regret. The money returned, halved and humbled. Victor slunk away.
Disbarred.
Emily in my body faded to therapy and obscurity, while I, in hers, rebuilt, curating exhibits on fractured identities at the Met, whispering to donors about second chances. Was it happy? Tragic? We debated it over coffee some mornings, her in my old sweats, me in her heels. Sisters?
Still.
But the mirror lied now, reflecting not faces, but the cost of family, a trust broken, souls switched, and a city that watched us pivot, indifferent as ever. The hook of it all, in the quiet hours, I wonder if I'd swap back. Her wild heart beats, stronger some days, freer. And in the penthouse glow, tie limp on the floor, I realize that night wasn't eviction. It was evolution. We'd killed the old US, buried the secrets. What rose? 2 Hales. Scarred but standing. Controversial as hell. American to the core. Dawn crept through the brownstone blinds like a guilty conscience, painting stripes on the Persian rug Mom had haggled for in Istanbul. Emily, my body, her soul, curled on the leather couch. Mascara smudged like war paint from last night's breakdown. I'd crashed in the guest room, her old space, surrounded by dusty Louboutins and dog-eared self-help books. The power of now. Atomic habits. Irony at its cruelest. The air smelled of stale takeout and regret, the kind that clings to Brooklyn brownstones where dreams go to die. I padded downstairs in socks, her silk robe whispering against skin that still felt foreign, cavia hips. A tattoo on my ribcage I discovered in the shower. A drunken live free in cursive from a Vegas weekend she never mentioned. Coffee brewed. Bloskas my muet. And I scrolled the news on her iPad. Eris Hale's breakdown. Bipolar or breakdown? The Post had run with it. Pixelated shot of me mid-rant at the gala. Eyes wild under chandeliers. Donations dried up overnight. The shelter's board called an emergency meeting. Emily's empire, my stolen throne, teetered. She stirred as I set the mug down, wincing at the steam.
Kath.
What did you put in that drink? Her voice, my alto timbre, cracked like thin ice. Felt like I was drowning in memories. Yours. The swap. It's leaking. I leaned against the counter, arms crossed over breasts that weren't mine. Special blend. Street special. Actually. Nothing permanent. A lie. The chemist swore it could pry open neural seams, force echoes of the original mind to surface. Risky. But I'd needed her off balance. You saw Mom, didn't you? In the haze. Emily sat up, rubbing temples, my temples, furrowed from years of my frowning at spreadsheets.
Yeah. And Dad.
Arguing in the study. Bottles everywhere. She had the ledger, screaming about jail time. He laughed, poured her a glass. Drink up.
Love.
It'll all fade. Then he nodded at me in the doorway. Like it was a board vote. Tears welled. But she swiped them away. I crushed the pills in the powder room. Thought it'd quiet her.
Not.
End her. Woke up to the ambulance. Dad hugged me, whispered, "Our secret." For the girls. The girls.
Us.
Pawns in his Ponzi of paternal love. I'd always suspected the OD was fishy. Mom was a fighter, clawing through Dad's infidelities with yoga and Merlot. But the autopsy? Clean. No foul play flagged. Cops don't dig deep for white-collar suicides in the Upper East Side. And the trust. I pressed. Voice steady as a deposition. Grandma and Grandpa's blood money. Locked away to protect what? Your getaway fund. She nodded. Miserable. Dad tipped me off before he died. Said the feds were closing in on the firm. Put it in Catherine's name. She's the golden child. Untouchable. But after the swap, I saw the loophole. Forged your consent while you were out cold in Bushwick. Wired it to Cayman shells. Figured I'd pay it back. Once I was you, doors opened. Deals flowed.
Deals.
Like the one with Lang and Associates. Victor's firm. Laundering real estate flips through ghost LLCs. I'd traced it all in my underbelly months. Burner ledgers showing kickbacks to the clinic. Neural swaps as executive stress relief for CEOs chasing second lives. Emily had been their poster girl, testing the tech for a cut. Powerful men, mired in Me Too scandals or IRS audits, paying millions to slip into younger skins. Controversial didn't cover it. Eugenics with a venture capital twist. The American dream digitized and devoured. Why me? The question hung. Bitter as de drags in my tip. You could have swapped with anyone. A model. A nobody. Her eyes, my eyes. Hazel and Haunted met mine. Because you're better. Stronger. I watched you at the Met. Charming those old money widows. Turning sketches into six figures. I was tired.
Kath.
Of failing. Of being the fuck up. In your body. I could be the Hale they wanted.
And you?
You'd thrive in mine. Free. Finally. No more playing mommy to me.
Thrive.
What a joke. Her life was a house of cards. Maxed Amexes. A stalker ex in Atlantic City. STD scares from networking hookups. I dodged repo men. Lied to her dealer about lost stashes. Even prostituted a weekend. Once. Desperately, for rent on a Jersey crash pad. Controversial? I'd stared at my reflection post-shower. Her curves oiled and posed for a discreet app. Feeling the shame burn hotter than the cash felt good. But it bought time. Intel from Marks who knew Victor's crowd.
Now.
With the truth cracked open. Alliance flickered. We expose it, I said, pacing the kitchen island. Granite cool under my palms. The clinic. The swaps. Dad stirred. Blow it wide. Reclaim the trust clean. Emily laughed.
Hollow.
With what? We're freaks in each other's skins. Cops'll think we're insane. Victor's got NDAs thicker than his wallet. And the senator's boy? He's in on it, his daddy funds the tech. Then we go darker. My third line crossed here. The one that'd haunt debate clubs and dinner parties, if this ever leaked. I pulled up the Disruptor app remnant on a hidden drive. The code Victor had spilled in a seduction stupor. Not kill.
Just.
Reset. Force a partial revert. You get echoes of me back. I get yours. Enough to pass as originals, if we time it right. Her face paled. That's suicide Russian roulette. The tech guy said it'd scramble everything, memories, motor functions. You could end up a vegetable in my body, me catatonic in yours. Or free. The word dangled. Seductive. We'd live as hybrids, ghosts of ourselves, but armed with the full story. I hit send on an encrypted drop to a journalist at the Times, anonymous, with ledgers attached. Partial leak. To flush the rats. The backlash hit like a nor'easter. By noon, feds raided Lang's office. Victor's mugshot trended on X. Tie askew like a noose. Emily's phone, my old number, exploded. Donors fleeing. The senator's son ghosting with a cease and desist. We hold up. Blinds drawn. Takeout piling like sandbags. Nights blurred into confession marathons. Her first theft at 16. Shoplifting Chanel to impress a crush. My buried rage at mom's funeral. Smashing a vase in the limo bathroom. Secrets unspooled. Binding us tighter than blood. But power plays don't pause for therapy. 2 days in. A knock, slick suits. FBI badges gleaming. MS. Hale, we need to talk about the trust discrepancies. Emily answered in my body. All poise and deflection. Lawyers on speed dial. Come back with a warrant. They left, but eyes lingered on the street, tails in black SUVs. Paranoia peaked. I rigged the brownstone. Cameras from Amazon drops. Deadbolts tripled. Emily paced, muttering, "We run." Cayman. Start over. But running was Dad's play, booze and denial.
No.
We'd fight American style, sue the bastards into oblivion, spin the narrative on podcasts, turn victims into victors. The controversial pivot came at midnight. Rain lashing windows like accusations. Victor called from a burner, voice whiskey slurred. "You bitches think you can bury me? The code's booby-trapped. Trigger it." And it broadcasts, every swap on the dark web. Names named. CEOs. Senators. Your precious family included. Leverage. Or landmine. Emily snatched the phone, bargaining in my voice. "Cut us in. 20%. And we delete." He laughed. "A wet hack." Too late.
Iminência.
The Russians back in town. Clinics reopening. Bigger. You're either players or roadkill.
Click.
Silence thrummed, heavier than the storm. "We take him," I said, grabbing keys. Controversial? Kidnapping a marked man in a city of 8 million. But justice waited for no one. We tailed him to a dive in Hell's Kitchen. Neon buzzing Lucky's over a door scarred by decades. Emily's sweet-talk the bouncer, my charm, her desperation, while I circled back, slipping a tracker under his Beamer. Inside, Victor hunched at the bar, nursing scotch, eyes darting like a cornered rat. I approached casual, her body in a slinky dress from the closet, sliding onto the stool. "Rough night, counselor?" He recognized the frame.
Sneered.
Emily's reject.
What?
Come to gloat. I leaned in, breath hot with feigned seduction. "Come to deal. The code for your freedom." His hand grazed my thigh, disgusting. Familiar from that night, but I played along, leading him to the alley. Emily waited in shadows, tire iron glinting. One swing, and he crumpled, zip ties biting wrists. We bundled him into the Jag's trunk, Manhattan's pulse fading as we drove north to an abandoned mill in Yonkers, the kind Rust Belt relics the city forgot. There, under flickering fluorescence, we broke him, not with fists, but facts. Ledgers waved like flags of surrender. "The Russian's address," Emily demanded, my voice steel. "Full list of swaps," he cracked, spilling. "A ledger of the damned, tech bros in athletes' bodies, politicians and starlets." Dad's name wasn't there, but a note. Hale Consult, 2018. He'd shopped the idea years back, before the booze won. Victor's eyes gleamed maniacal. "You think this ends me? It's the future. Ladies. Immortality for the 1%. We left him bound. Anonymous tip to feds en route. Dawn broke as we sped back. Radio crackling with raids. Clinic shuttered. Russian in cuffs. But the twist lingered, Dad's shadow everywhere. Was the swap his final gift? Or curse? Back home, Emily crashed, while I stared at the mirror, tracing the tattoo. Live free. Her mantra. Now mine. The trust reformed. Headlines shifting. Hale twins expose elite body swap scandal. Power returned, but hollow. We'd won the battle. But the war? It echoed in our mismatched hearts. The mill's echo haunted me for weeks. Victor's was like a bad remix in my skull. We played the heroes in public, Catherine and Emily Hale. Whistleblowers against the 1%'s vanity project, posing for Vogue in the brownstone. Arms linked, smiles practiced. The trust swelled back. Lawsuits raining like confetti, class actions from swap victims, SEC probes into Lang's laundering. Emily, in my body, testified crisp in congressional hearings. Her, my poise selling the outrage.
I,
In hers, worked the media circuit. Her husky laugh disarming anchors on CNN. It's not sci-fi.
folks.
It's here, and it's us versus them. But private, fractured glass. Mornings, I'd catch her staring at her hands, my hands flexing fingers that remembered brushstrokes, not bar tabs. I miss the chaos sometimes, she'd admit over eggs in the sunroom. Sunlight slanting through ivy. Your life's ordered. Mine was a rush. I'd nod, hiding how adrenaline junkie pulse quickened my step. Made Met board meetings feel like foreplay to a heist. Controversy brewed in the details we glossed. Pundits debated on Fox, vigilante justice or family feud. TikToks dissected our twin telepathy, conspiracy nuts claiming we faked the whole thing for clout. The senator's son sued for defamation. His daddy's PACs painting us as gold diggers avenging mom's tragic lapse. We countersued, dropping dad's ledger bombs, his fraud tied to the clinic's seed funding. A consult that bought our silence. Power shifted seismic. Emily landed a TED Talk slot, reclaiming identity in a swappable world, her delivery, my delivery, commanding ovations. I curated a Met exhibit. Mirrors of the soul, neural scans of volunteers consenting, ethical, projected on canvases, whispers of swap ethics in the plaques. Donors flocked. The $3 million trust ballooning to 5 with grants. But Victor? He flipped. Plea deal for names. Vanishing into witness protection. The Russian? Extradited. Ranting about American greed in a Moscow cell. Still. Tension coiled. Leaks trickled of victim. A Wall Street wolf now trapped in a barista's frame. Tracked us to a fundraiser in the Bowery. You started this, he snarled in the coat check. Breath sour with cheap gin. My life's ruined. Wife left. Kids think I'm a freak. Emily pulled security. But his words stuck. Were we saviors or sparks? My fourth dark decision crystallized then.
Born of that alley dread.
The partial reset, I'd held off. Fearing the scramble. But with the hearings peaking, Emily confided nightmares. Mom's face in the mirror. Accusing. The leaks worsening, she said one fogged November eve. Steam rising from bathtubs side by side. Your memories bleeding in. The night you placed the trust. I see it. Felt your hope.
Kath. Pure.
Stupid hope.
Hope.
The luxury we'd both lost. We do it, I decided. Water sloshing as I sat up. The code. Tonight. Before the big testimony. Controversial apex. Self-surgery on souls. In a borrowed MRI suite from a sympathetic doc at Columbia, paid under the table. Of course. No reversals. Just amplification. Dial up the originals. Mute the overlays. We prepped like junkies chasing clean. Fasted. Meditated in the brownstone's attic. Burning sage Mom swore by. Emily trembled. Robe slipping. If it fries us. At least we're together. Sisters packed. Round 2. The doc, a grizzled ex-army surgeon with a grudge against Big Pharma, hooked us to the machine. Humming beast in a sterile basement. 10 minutes max, he grunted. Then out. Or neural storm. straps bit. Screens glowed with brainwave fractals, hers mine. Mine hers. Tangled like lover sheets. The code uploaded. A digital scalpel slicing seams. Pain bloomed. Electric forks in my spine. Visions cascading. Emily's first high. Euphoria sharp as glass. My Yale graduation. Mortarboard heavy with expectation. Mom's laugh in Central Park. Pre-pills. Dad's whisper. Girls. The world's yours if you play smart. Screams echoed. Hers mine. Mine hers. The doc yanked plugs at 9 minutes. Faces ashen. We woke gasping in recovery cots. Monitors beeping frantic. Vital stable, he muttered. But his eyes said liar.
It worked.
Sort of. Mornings after. I'd flex in the mirror. Feeling the tug, my posture straightening her slouch. Her swagger firming my hesitance. Emily blinked slower. My focus sharpening her scatter. But echoes lingered, ghost pains. She'd hum my favorite Springsteen track unbidden. I'd crave her tequila sunrises at dawn. Testimony day dawned crisp. Capitol Hill buzzing like a hive. Emily took the stand first. Voice steady. My father built an empire on lies. The swaps? His final con. Calm modifying souls for the elite. Jaws dropped. Cameras flashed. I followed. Her lilt in my throat. We bore the cost, betrayed by blood. Reborn in betrayal. But America's about second acts. Right? Let's make this one count. Applause thundered. But backstage. The coils snapped. Victor's booby trap. It triggered mid-recess. Alerts pinged. Dark web dumps. Swap rosters viral.
CEOs outed.
Stocks cratered. Panic in penthouses. A riot sparked outside, protesters chanting soul thieves versus countersigns my body. My swap. Emily clutched my arm. Our grip sinking in eerie harmony. He played us. One last fuck you. We fled to the brownstone via decoy car. Sirens wailing citywide. News helicopters chopped overhead, framing us in spotlights.
Inside.
We barricaded. Wine bottle Molotovs by the door, paranoid, but practical. Endgame, Emily said, pacing. We go public full names, dates, the works. Burn it all. But the twist reversed mid-sip. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Victor's voice. Smug.
Surprise.
Hails. The trap?
Bait.
Feds were closing anyway. I fed M crumbs to flip. Your testimony sealed it. RICO charges on the whole network. But here's the kicker. Dad's ledger? I found the original. Not fraud. Insurance. He swapped once. Years back with Mom. The world tilted. Mom's OD? A cover for her and Dad's body. Post-swap gone wrong. She begged him to pull the plug. Victor croaked. Glee dripping.
He couldn't.
Drank instead. Emily. You finished what he started. Emily crumpled. My body folding like paper.
No. She was.
Weak. But doubt cracked her. Tears real. I'd borne Mom's mistake. The pill haze for nothing? Dad's crime was mercy. Emily's mimicry. The betrayal looped infinite. Family a Mobius of sins. Rage reignited. But twisted. We ended our way, I said. Pulling the full disruptor code unleashed now.
No partials.
Not death. Dissolution. Let the originals fade. Hybrids rise. Controversial zenith. Erasing the lines. becoming neither slash nor. We sync devices. Countdown ticking. As code flowed, pain crested, final, freeing. Visions merged, mom's eyes in dad's face. Pleading, our births. Tangled cords, the trust signing. Hope pure. Emily gripped my hand, voices harmonizing, for us. Blackness swallowed, birthing something new. Light fractured back like stained glass. The brownstone's chandelier prisming rainbows on white walls. Emily, no. We stirred on the rug, limbs entangled, breaths sinking in post-storm calm. The doc had bailed at the first ping, muttering crazy bitches, but we'd done it solo. Disruptor humming to completion.
No scramble.
No storm. Just quiet integration. Souls stitched like Frankenstein's dream. Minus the bolts. I sat up first. Her hair, our hair, tumbling wild. The mirror across the hall beckoned, and there we were, two faces, blurred at edges, features softening into a hybrid mien. Cheekbones averaged, eyes a deeper hazel, scars shared like tattoos. Holy shit, Emily whispered, my voice overlaying hers in stereo.
We're.
Us.
Us.
The word redeemed. Finally. The trap's fallout raged outside, sirens, shouts, but inside, peace pooled like spilled Merlot. Victor's call? Traced to a payphone in Queens, feds scooped him mid-gloat. His revelation, half-truth at best. Mom and dad swap? A rumor he'd peddled for leverage. No ledger proof. The real twist, the clinic's founder wasn't Russian, but Grandma Hale, our saintly Nan, funding it from the estate shadows to preserve the family line. Her diaries, unearthed in the raid, confessed, swaps for heirs to dodge mortality. Dad her first guinea pig. We'd borne her ambition, not just as sins. Controversial closure? We leaked it all, diaries digitized, dropped to WikiLeaks from a VPN in Toronto. The empire crumbled. Hale Holdings nationalized for ethical reparations. The $3 million trust dissolved into a foundation for neural ethics research. No fortune left, but freedom? Priceless. Months blurred into reinvention. The brownstone sold. Proceeds seeding our road trip. Jag humming cross-country. Route 66 in reverse. From NYC to LA. Chasing sunsets over prairies. We alternated driving. Her wild swerves tempered by my steady hands. My playlist spiked with her punk anthems. Stops in diners. Flirting with truckers as the Hale twins. Post-scandal, spinning yarns that half-truthed our way to free pie. In Reno, we hit a casino, her itch, my caution and one small, laughing as slots chimed like bells tolling old ghosts. To Mom, Emily toasted with a Shirley Temple, who fought dirty and loved dirtier. To Dad, the con man who conned himself. To Grandma, the puppet master pulling threads we cut. And to us, hybrids, hear us roar. LA welcomed with haze and hustle. Aloft in Silver Lake, our crash pad. Emily, we pivoted to screenwriting. Pitching Switch Souls to indie producers, a dark comedy on betrayal's blur. Twins trading lives and lies. Controversial buzz. Too real? Critics would argue. Fans debate the ending, happy merger or tragic merge. I curated pop-ups on the strip. Hybrid art. Mirrors warped to show viewer and reflection swapped. Prompts for confessions. What would you trade? Scrawled on walls. Responses a tapestry of regrets, affairs, addictions. The American hustle's hollow core. Nights. Weed rooftop lounge. City sprawl below like a neural net. Echoes faded. But intimacies lingered, her craving for chaos in my calm, my depth in her shallows. Lovers came separate, then shared, boundaries blurred as bodies. A bisexual actor, tanned and tattooed, sparked our first threesome, bodies entwining like the code that bound us. Freaky Hales, he joked post-glow, we laughed. Owning the weird. The final hook? In a desert motel outside Joshua Tree. Stars pricking black like faulty electrodes. Emily confessed the unconfessed. I spiked the wine that night in Bushwick. Not just to swap. To keep you out. Knew you'd fight the forgeries. Betrayal's last gasp. But I saw the fear beneath, her terror of losing the only anchor. Instead of rage, I pulled her close. Our hybrid heart-thumping duet. You saved me too. From the careful cage, we made love under the fan's lazy whirl. Souls synced. No lines left to cross. Ending? Pick your poison. Happy, we thrive. A two-headed hydra conquering Hollywood. Foundation funding swaps for the deserving. Vets in stronger frames. Elders in youthful vigor. Tragic. The merge unravels slow. Memories fraying like old film. Ending in a clinic bed. Hands clasped as lights dim. Or the debate fuel. Is fusion freedom? Or erasure? We'd killed the old binaries, sister/enemy. Victim/villain. Birthing something fiercer. America's rhythm pulsed in our veins now. Gritty reinvention.
Dark underbelly lit neon.
From Manhattan marble to Mojave dust. We'd pivoted. Paid in full. The tie in the penthouse? A prop from our pitch reel. Symbol of eviction. No bodies slumped. Just scripts flipped. And, in the quiet, when doubt whispers, we echo back, sisters forever. Switched, but unbroken. Live free. Indeed.